Hey, what's up everybody? I just thought I would do an after theater review because I did see something today. So today I went with Maja and we saw two different movies. Well, I think this is something we've never done before where we both go to the movie theater and we don't see the same thing. Normally we go see the same movie, but this time I kind of convinced her. I was like, hey, you want to go see this movie? It's not that far away from my movie and time-wise, and it's about the same amount of time, about 2 hours, a little shorter than 2 hours. So she went to go see The Meg, and I went to go see Christopher Robin, obviously, if you read the title. If you know me personally, it would kind of seem like we would have been interested in the other person's movie, because she likes heartwarming, emotion-filled, things that will touch your heart and make you just be like, I have feels. This is just really deep. And for me, I like, scary stuff, action, intense destruction, the type. I don't know. But, she wasn't interested in my movie, and I wasn't really interested in her movie. I mean, I'll probably watch The Meg when it comes out on DVD, but I'm just not that big of a shark person, and she is. She asked me she was freaking out over, Sharknado 6, the final Sharknado. I didn't even know it was the final one. And she hasn't missed it, so as I said, I saw Christopher Robin today, and let me tell you what it's about. An adult Christopher Robin, who is now focused on his new life, work, and family, suddenly meets his old friend Winnie the Pooh, who returns to his unforgotten childhood past to help him return to the 100-acre wood and help find Pooh's lost friends. I guess that's a good summary. There's also another one saying, a working-class family man, Christopher Robin, encounters his childhood friend Winnie the Pooh, who helps him rediscover the joy of life, which I think is a better, short, straight to the point, what the movie is about. So, I know there is a movie called Goodbye Christopher Robin, and I don't know who actually made the movie. I'm pretty sure it's probably not Disney, because this was a Disney movie. But I have not watched it, but now I kind of want to watch it and compare this movie with it, because I feel like it might have a similar theme to it, because in the beginning of this movie it had this old book storybook feel to it with illustrations, and then it had the words like you're reading the movie like a book, which I thought was pretty cool. But I thought it would be nice to have a narrator's voice. I think in one of the Winnie the Pooh movies they have a narrator's voice talking as if you're flipping through the pages of a book. That would have been kind of nice, especially if children are in the theater and they can't really, read that fast or know how to read. I think that would have been a nice little touch, but it's just a little minor thing. But anyway, at the beginning it starts off with, seeing the adventures that Christopher Robin did with Winnie the Pooh and all the other characters, and then they get to a point where it's okay, it's time to say goodbye to Christopher Robin, and they have this party, and it's just really sad, and it's just well, guess the next scene is going to be Christopher Robin all grown up. And no, they actually give us some time to see Christopher Robin as a kid interact with his parents, and how he goes into boarding school, and that it's just, he still wants to free his imagination, and he draws Winnie the Pooh on his math work, and his teacher chastises him because I guess the boarding school is really strict. And then we get to see him interact with his mom, and that he's kind of close with her, and he's also the type of person who's trying to please his father, and then his father passes away, and they say, well, now you gotta be the man of the house, which just, like, forces this adult role on him, and so now he has to forsake being, like, these childish things that he enjoyed, having an imagination, letting happiness just be happiness, doing nothing because nothing will bring something that is great. I can't remember the exact quote, but then eventually we get to see him meet Evelyn, his wife, and then they just fall in love, and they don't really spend too much time, but it's just enough time to, like, know that this joy that he has inside him is what she loves about him, and that's still that child part. The part of his childhood is still, like, inside of him. He hasn't, like, forsaken it completely. And then he has a child. Evelyn is pregnant, and he goes off to war, and when he comes back, he's a completely different person. He's pretty much what you can fill in the blanks of what his father may be. Very strict, you gotta work to get your dreams. You just have to fight hard to make your dreams a reality. And I mean, the daughter is just kind of like, oh, I wish I knew Dad, and now she wishes she had more time with him because he's always just work, 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 work. So, I thought having that little snippet of time of seeing him as a kid and his brief little interactions we do see with his parents is a nice little parallel to what he grew up to be. And things, of course, start to change when Winnie the Pooh shows up, and he's just confused, and now he has to go back and help Pooh, and every now and then there's, like, a glimmer of, like, maybe he still has that childlike imagination and happiness and joy inside him, but then he rolls back in, and it's just a really good balance, and I thought the progression and pacing was very well done. I was a little nervous seeing the previews that the characters, the animated characters, the CGI characters, would kind of look a little creepy, because I was a little worried, like, looking at, like, Tigger and Pooh and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know, I don't find them too cuddly. They kind of look a little, like, dark version of the characters, but I kind of think that their approach with animating them was trying to make them more realistic, in a sense of, like, these are actual real stuffed animal things, because you can see, like, some of the stitching, and then the pads on their hands, and then the fur, and they just kind of look like dirty, kind of worn, like, very well-loved toys. Excluding Rabbit and Owl, they actually look like they're supposed to be real anthropomorphic animals, which is fine. Roo and Kanga, not so much. They kind of, like, lean toward the stuffed animal-ish realm. So I believe Maja was telling me that the original voice of Winnie was in the movie. I didn't really look that up, but I would like to believe that, because it totally sounds like him. And I really enjoyed watching these characters and their interaction with Christopher, and of course later, like, interacting with the real world. I thought that was kind of entertaining and fun. This movie is definitely for the adults, especially those who grew up with Winnie in the game. Like myself, I'm not, like, a hardcore Winnie the Pooh person, but he is part of my childhood, or she. Winnie is part of my childhood, I'll just say it like that. Piglet was always my favorite, but I mean, I have yet to find anybody else who says Piglet is their favorite. I've always seen all the people who liked Winnie and Tigger and Eeyore, but whatevs. But this is definitely for the adults. I think this might be a little too slow and not enough action for a child, but I mean, there was one kid at the theater, so he didn't seem too, like, restless or anything. I think it kind of seemed like he enjoyed the movie, but I'm not sure. I didn't really interview the kid or anything. but it definitely touched me in the feels, and I felt like my childhood was just like getting like pushing like little tears in my tear ducts, like you're gonna cry, and I'm like, no, we're not gonna do this, we're just a little misty and a little sniffle, and yeah, I don't cry in movies, but it did definitely touch me in my cold little dead heart. But I definitely caught some feels in this movie because I thought it was really touching, the whole overall story of bringing joy back into your adulthood. If I had any negatives to say, is that I thought pretty much this whole plot line is nothing new. Like, I've seen this plot before of the father neglecting their kid and forgetting to just enjoy life and family and just getting in touch with their childhood. Like, I immediately, like, thought of Hook. That's practically, like, the plot of Hook. Like, Robin Williams was just a workaholic person, forsaken the world of Lost Boys and didn't really spend enough time with the kids because he really wanted to work, and then eventually he gets in touch with the Lost Boys and he finds his inner Peter Pan, and yeah, it's like, this is practically the same story, and I've seen this story many a times, but it was still really enjoyable, and it still, like, got the message across and made its point by, like, making you think and making you think of your life and making you wonder if you are bringing a little happiness and joy and enjoying the little simple things that you did as a child, like a little red balloon bringing you happiness, and just, you know, exploring life, just enjoying the people around you that you love and not letting work and stress consume you. I thought that it did the job. So, I mean, despite it being a story that I've heard before, I've still found this very enjoyable, and I definitely still would recommend it to, like, friends and family, and of course you guys. So, I'm just gonna, like, briefly talk about the little previews that they showed. All of them, some of them were a little longer previews than I remember that haven't seen. One was for Dumbo, which I've seen like a little sliver of a preview for. This was a little longer, where it kind of showed like the pink elephants and more of the human characters and their interaction with Dumbo, and then a little hint of Dumbo flying. I've actually sadly have never seen Dumbo, so I'll probably watch that before I watch the live action. I don't know if I'll go see it in theater, because I'm kind of like, we don't really need, why are you doing this, Disney? Why are you remaking all of your animated classics from years ago into live action movies? Like, stop. I mean, I know I'm guilty. I've seen Beauty and the Beast, but I don't know. I just don't get this. I also saw Jungle Book, so I mean, granted they're good, but I'm just like, these are really not necessary. I'm sure everyone's grown up with Disney, and I'm sure they show Disney movies to their children, and I'm sure they're okay with that, so I don't know. Another movie that was a lot longer preview that I've never seen was Mary Poppins Returns, and I feel a little bit more, I guess, opinionated about that movie because I really like the original Mary Poppins. Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke were fantastic, and they're just a staple to that movie, and to not, like, see Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins, like, it just seems like complete blasphemy, and I'm like, I don't even want to see this. Like, I probably will. I don't know if I'll go to the theater to go see it, but I don't know. I'm just really skeptical, and I don't know why they're making a sequel. It's so silly. I mean, I guess it's good. It's not like a remake, but like a sequel. Like, do we really need another Mary Poppins movie? I don't know. The last preview that I remember seeing, I have already seen this preview before, which is for Wreck-It Ralph 2. Breaks the Internet. It should be called Wreck the Internet, honestly. I totally agree with that. I'm glad they addressed that in the preview. I don't know if they'll put that, like, in the movie, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to another Wreck-It Ralph. I still find the whole princess scene, like, hilarious. I think there's, like, some things floating on the internet that I wanted to check out about the whole princess scene and controversies with Disney princesses, but, yeah. So those were the previews I saw before Christopher Robin started. So, in case you were just sleeping through this whole preview, Christopher Robin is great, is fantastic, it deserves all the praise that it's received. I don't even know what critics are saying, but Maja said that it's doing pretty well and a lot of people like it. I am not surprised. It definitely touches you in the feels. You might need a tissue. I don't know. Tell your family, tell your friends, this movie is great. I will give it a 4.5 out of 5 because I did find it really great, even though the story is something that's, like, not new, which is why it's not a perfect 5. But it still gets the job done in the emotions department, and I'm totally okay with that, and I'm glad I got to hang out with Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, Eeyore, Rabbit, Owl, Kanga, and Roo. So, yay! So, lastly, I would like to thank my lovely Muddy Cold patrons joining Patreon. I love you guys so much. I appreciate your contributions, and if you want to become a Muddy Cold patron, you can click the link below. I also put the link at the end of the video, and you can get early access and other awesome little perks that I provide on there. And if you want to check out more videos that I make here, you can subscribe. That's totally free. And that red button's down there. You should click it. If it's red, it should be gray. You should already be subscribed. But also, if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up, because I like doing review videos. I just like doing reviews. Anyway, I will catch you guys next time. Stay cool and hydrated, and I love you.